Alright guys, so welcome back to the channel. Like always, this is the EOS Network, and today I have another phone to talk to you guys about. We have the OnePlus OnePlus N30 5G right here. I actually picked it up today at the Metro store. Costs you, I would say it's free if you're porting. It's $89 as a new line, plus, first month services, things like that. $279 regular price, which is still very, very cheap, very affordable for this device. And it is jam-packed with a lot of different features that we're going to talk about together. Now, we'll have a separate video for you guys to actually showing the full review for the phone. But right here, we're just going to talk specs and some of the phones that Metro offers and why this one might be ideal for you. So anyway, with that being said, let's get right into this video. Alright guys, so real fast, these are the two phones that I'm currently using. I sold the A54 5G already, unfortunately. I should have thought that through, but I already sold it to a family member. This right here is the Pixel 6a, so I have this phone. This right here is the Nord N30 5G, which I actually purchased today. I'm looking at the date, 6/15. So just so you know, it is going to take me a couple weeks to actually use this device and see if there's any hiccups that I want to warn you guys about. I don't want to suggest something off the strength of just one video, but some people love OnePlus, so I do want to just talk about the phone itself. So when you look at the price of the phone, last year's model, I think the N20 was about $299, I believe it was, $300. But of course, Metro's variant depends on their price. So yeah, $289 for the N20. Some people love that phone. I personally wasn't a fan of it, primarily because when I did streaming apps like Paramount Plus, I had an issue where it was constantly skipping through streaming apps. Certain ones like Crunchyroll, it just wasn't working for me. And because I did a lot of TV watching back then, especially like at work, I'm sitting at the desk, I have something on the side while I do work, or, it was an issue for me. And on top of that, it didn't have the super fast warp charging like the N10 did. And the whole purpose of a OnePlus phone is for warp charging. I know some of you guys have the N300 or whatever it's called and the N200. You haven't experienced fast charging yet. This current phone right here can charge 80% in 30 minutes. Already tested it. They're not lying. I didn't turn the phone off. I left it on. I used the phone and downloaded applications, and it still did exactly what was specified on the website. Now, again, like I always say, it does have a 108. Actually, let's look at the specs together, and then we'll talk more about if it's actually worth it. Because they are selling it, like I said, I think for $89, $90 as a new line. And for some people, you may look at the A54 5G, which is $50 as a new line if you're not porting, or the Pixel, which is also $49, $50 as a new line. You may look at those as being better phones, which out of the three, if we're being honest here, the Pixel is without a doubt the best phone. But there are things that the Pixel can't do that the Samsung and the OnePlus can. But in this case, we're comparing the OnePlus. This does have a 120 hertz display, and let me tell you something, it is a very smooth display. I didn't have any hiccups whatsoever with the display so far. Remember, it's just been one day. I haven't had hiccups so far. Well, more like a half a day. I had the phone since about, 11 o'clock this morning. So I just been using it, downloading applications, playing games, doing, Canva, reading manga, watching TV. I do everything on the phone to see how much I can abuse it in terms of, does it get hot? Does it overheat? Does it skip? I'll let you know all that in the actual real review. But anyway, for right now, it's 6.7 inches, so they actually increased the size of the screen, which I'm happy about that. It ships with Android 13, Oxygen OS 13.1. To some people that might matter, to other people that are new to this, don't worry about the Oxygen OS. That's just OnePlus's personal software on the device that they sell you. Samsung has One UI, so different companies have different devices, software. Don't mind that. Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 5G. Now, you may see this processor and say, you know what, didn't they have this last year or the year before that or something like that? And I'm just going to be honest with you. The performance of gaming and things like that was pretty good on this processor. I didn't have any issues. I play Call of Duty Mobile a lot from time to time with other people, and I do the ranked matches. So I need to make sure my phone can actually handle what's happening. And so far, it did a very, very good job. I had minor hiccups here in the game from time to time, but it is what it is. I tried it with the higher end graphics, the HD graphics. I also tried it without that. So the performances does vary. And again, it's going to be in that review in a couple weeks once I actually get used to the phone. You have 8 gigs of RAM. That sold me right there. When I saw the 8 gigs of RAM, the Pixel has 6, the Samsung A54 5G has 6. 8 seems to be the standard for most phones. And you got to understand, even if you have 8 gigs of RAM, that will just help out the processor more. That's why they decided not to really up the processor and make it super amazing or anything, because the RAM, I would say that the RAM helps to keep the OS stable from skipping and things like that. With cheaper phones, you might go to the camera, swipe up, it lags. With cheaper phones, you might play Call of Duty, swipe up, it lags. You might play certain games and it takes a second for the phone call to pop up, or it depends. I'm sure some of you guys have experienced this that have cheaper phones. It may not be an issue for you, but with this price tag, what they're offering, personally, I think the phone should have been $50 as a new line to be competitive with the other 2 devices. But again, regular price, the phone is actually very, very affordable. Right here, you have 128 gigs internally, standard for both. You have an SD card slot, so the A54 has that. This phone has an SD card slot right here. The Pixel, unfortunately, does not have an SD card slot, which is stupid in my opinion. Oh, also, they decided to keep the headphone jack in this OnePlus device. Also, they have a setting that allows you to do emojis. So let me see if I can pull it up for you. It also has face unlock, which is very, very accurate. It has the fingerprint on the right-hand side, so that's something. I'm not a huge fan of on-screen fingerprints, because if your finger is smudgy or cold or there's a weather difference, sometimes the fingerprint doesn't quite unlock for you. In the Pixel, I had that issue where it was like a delay with the unlocking, so take that into consideration. Let me show you right here. So right here, see if I can pull it up for you, if it shows me. See if I can go to the emoji. Here we go. So there's this little feature right here. Let me go to edit so you guys can see it. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to show you in real time. So the same way iPhones have face unlock, where you move your face back and forth, and I'm shaking my head because the camera is showing it right here. Let me pull up my recorder so I can show you. Make sure I got the picture. This right here is the emoji. That's my face right here. If you're looking directly at it, it will move around left and right, just like the Apple one. The lips will move. It's not as accurate for this particular phone, but I'm sure other OnePlus devices with better cameras would definitely give you a more, not realistic reaction, but a more accurate reaction with eyebrows raising up and your lips moving. But this still isn't bad. And it is a 16 megapixel front camera that we're talking about here that takes pretty decent photos. So I don't want to keep boring you with this. 108 megapixel for the main shooter. I don't even mention the macro or the depth because they're 2 megapixels, which is laughable. It's not going to do much of anything. Unfortunately, I didn't see any 4K. Like, I saw 1080p, and then I saw 720p for the video recorder. So that is a major, major turnoff for some people. But if you're a person and you don't necessarily need 4K video, which I'll be honest with you, you should have 4K video. Even the A54 5G had that. So that's one of the reasons why the price tag for this phone is a little bit lower than the other ones. Well, a lot lower than the other ones, because the Samsung is like $450, but it has more features jam-packed in terms of cameras and things like that. But again, not everyone cares about those features. I like the fast charging, the 50-watt fast charger. I still have my 65-watt chargers. I still have my 120-watt charger for my OnePlus N30. So I have other phones. But the thing is, I just like OnePlus's charging because this is insured under Metro by T-Mobile. I'm not a big person of constantly swapping phones back and forth. I like to be secure with insurance in case something happens. You have a small, affordable deductible, probably between $60 to $100 at the most, probably $60, $70, because it is a phone that's under $300. Now, with that being said, what else can I say? Obviously, USB-C. We talked about the fact that there's a headphone jack. I don't look at things like radio. It does have NFC for you guys out there. And also, I did set it up where my debit information's on my phone, so I'm able to just scan and pay at different locations, things like that. So, in a sense, Android Pay. Not Apple Pay, not Samsung Pay, but like an Android Pay feature. It does have that. Now, with that being said, I'm going to close out this page. And we are going... Oh my gosh. I forgot to tell you about the display. I totally forgot to tell you. But I think it's like 390 something... in terms of PPI or something like that. So it's nothing super high. It is the lowest LCD screen out of the A54, and the Pixel still has a very smooth transition from switching between, what is it called, like the Pixel. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys real fast. Pull up my camera again because I can't see it. Here we are. So with the Pixel, this does swipe. Is it swiping? There we go. It does swipe pretty fast. I don't know if you can see that. Very smooth. I never had any slowdowns with the Pixel whatsoever. So again, the only issue I have with the Pixel is the 18-watt charging, which is super slow, and the fact that it overheats when it comes to the camera. That's a huge thing. I use everything. My life is the camera. I have a YouTube page. I have multiple YouTube pages, and I need my camera to work, just being honest. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to switch from it. It's the only reason, honestly. And this charges super fast when I play a lot of games. With the OnePlus, this does have a 120 hertz display. Obviously, it's not doing you much justice right here, me showing you, but in a real video, that's good. And you have the option to switch it between 120 hertz and 60 to save battery. But realistically, because your phone charges so fast, you don't really need to. So, if you were wondering why you would suggest this phone, or why I would suggest this phone compared to, what is it called? The Samsung or the Pixel, I want to be honest. The cameras on this don't let that 108 megapixels fool you. The cameras on this are not better than the Samsung A54. In low lighting and bright lights, they offer more features point blank. The Pixel, I don't even need to mention the Pixel because the camera on the Pixel is better than both those phones combined. But the problem is the overheating. This right here, when I took videos and photos of things, I was like, it looked nice. But if you're trying to be a YouTuber and you want the highest quality without paying the most money, then obviously the A54 5G is going to be the best one, in my opinion, out of the three, only because the phone doesn't overheat. It gets warm. All phones get warm or hot when using the camera for the most part, especially for a prolonged amount of time. But the Samsung was the most stable, in my opinion, in terms of heat resistance. It didn't overheat. It didn't get hot. I just don't know how they don't really test their cameras and things like the Pixel. I love the 6A, but the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro had the same problem where when you use the cameras, and I have videos back on that on the channel, it actually overheated in real time when I was showing it. And I did it on purpose because people didn't believe me. But when I showed them, they said, oh my God, this happens? Yes. And these were flagship phones. Let's go back to the Metro website real fast. So, like I said before, you got to look at the price tag for this phone. The Pixel is $349. The Samsung A54 5G, if I can find that thing, which it should be up top if we're being honest here, is $469. Then a $19 promotion is with porting. Normally, which is weird, this phone, the A54 5G, is actually $49 right now for a new number. Now, what I would say is if you're a Samsung user, pick this up if you're a Metro Samsung user. If you're coming from an A20, an A53, they did things better than that. They remade the A54 and they made it where it's actually a usable phone with minimal lag. It's actually very, very good. If you're a Samsung user, stick to that. If you're a Google user, you already know about the Pixel 6a. You know about Magic Eraser and all those features. If you don't know what Magic Eraser is, you can take a photo, scribble it with your finger, and it will disappear. That part of the photo that you don't want. Like, let's say it was an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend. You can etch her ass right out of that video. And I shouldn't have cursed. I forgot this is a family channel, but it is what it is. Just one curse word. So don't kill me on that one. As for the OnePlus N30, it's the cheapest out of all three of them. This is the one that's going to get people in the store because people like OnePlus phones. They like the fast charging. They want to throw their phone on the charger for 30 minutes in the morning. They forget, hop in the shower, make breakfast, come back, phone's already charged. Pixel takes about 2 hours and some change to charge from 0 to 100. The Samsung takes about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes from 0 to 100. Don't quote me, but it's close to those ranges. While the Pixel, 0 to 80% is just 30 minutes. And that's enough for most people. The software is pretty decent. The setup is pretty clean. You have your volume rockers on the left-hand side, the power button on the right. Unfortunately, there is no, what is it called? There is a actual, most of the other high-end OnePlus phones had a button like the iPhones that allowed you to put it on vibrate, on and off vibrate. This one doesn't have that, so some people will be disappointed about that. But if you're a Metro user and you already have the N10, skip the N20. I know some people will say, oh, the N20 has a better screen and sharper. Listen to what I'm saying to you. The performance for this phone, from what I've done so far with gaming and other things, to me, has outperformed the N20 5G. I would not suggest that. Even if this is an ICD LCD screen and everyone else has Super AMOLED and all that, that's fine. This is not a bad looking screen. It may look a little washed out compared to the Samsung A54 5G, but you got to ask yourself, are you buying a phone for aesthetics or are you buying it for what it actually does? Like I said, for me, I have the Pixel. I can use that for a camera at home and never use it for anything else. I can use this as my daily driver, the OnePlus. When I go to work and I'm constantly on my phone, I'm texting, I'm calling judges, I'm letting people know that they have certain people here in the building. Sometimes there's child abuse hearings and they got to be separated. I got to make sure that my phone can keep a decent battery and that it can charge fast because I'm always on the go. You never know what happens when you work in a state building. But outside of that, I kind of rambled. I really did ramble, but hopefully you guys liked this video. I will, like I said, just give me a couple weeks. I will have the full review for you. As a matter of fact, give me a week, 1 week. I'm going to have a review for you and about the things I like, the things I dislike about the phone. Maybe my mind will change and I'll say don't buy it. I don't want to tell you just run out into the store and buy this phone. If you're a OnePlus user, you're going to like the upgrade, especially if you're coming from the last model that had slow charging. I think the cameras on this is substantially better than the last model. That's me. If you're looking for more professional photos and professional quality videos and things like that, you're going to go to the Pixel, hands down. And if you want the middle, the best of both worlds, like 25 watt charging, not quite 50, but higher than the 18 watt the Pixel offers, cameras that are still very, very sharp, not as sharp as the Pixels, but still better than the OnePlus, then that's where the Samsung A54 5G comes from. And you guys got to understand, I'm not coming from this as a unlocked standpoint. I'm coming from it from a Metro user standpoint. So you got to understand that these phones are very similar in price in terms of getting it out of the store. I think it was like $163 or something like that to get it out of the store. It was on a $65 plan or something. And I'm going to get a promotional plan when I call Metro by T-Mobile, like a $25 promotional plan. But I like the phone. It's pretty good so far. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe like always. If you already have it, excuse me, and there's some issues you want me to address, by all means, send it in the messages. I will do that. I will talk about it. I'm going to put this phone through hell and back to see if it works. If there's any problems, trust me, I'm going to let y'all know every problem with this phone. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, be safe, take care, see you in the next video.